Hey guys, this is Alex Orchiez, and due to popular demand, today I will be quickly showing you the basics of photography. When it comes to photography, there's three main factors that go into taking a photo. These three factors are the aperture, the shutter speed, and the ISO. When shooting photos in manual mode, you have to adjust the three of these settings for your shots to come out correctly. The aperture is the size of the hole inside of the lens. This affects how much light the lens lets into the camera's sensor. The unit used to measure this is called the f-stop, and this could vary from f1.4 to f22. Simply put, the lower the f-stop, the more light will reach the sensor. An f1.4 aperture lens will let in more light than an f2.8 lens, and an f3.5 lens will let more light than an f4 lens. So why would anyone want to let more light into their sensor? The lower the f-stop, the more background blur your shot will have. This is why when shooting portraits, it's good to use a lower f-stop than if you were shooting a landscape shot. Another time when you'd want to shoot at a lower f-stop is when you're shooting in a darker setting to absorb as much light as possible. When shooting landscapes or group photos, it would be best to raise the f-stop so more is in focus at a time. The next camera setting I will cover is called the shutter speed. The shutter speed is the amount of time that the shutter is open and the sensor is exposed to the frame. This is measured in seconds and fractions of seconds, normally between 30 seconds and 1/8,000th of a second. The slower the shutter, the more light hits the sensor and the more motion your images will have. The faster the shutter, the less light will reach the sensor and the less motion you'll have in your image. When shooting sports, it would be best to shoot with a faster shutter speed to freeze the action of the player running or throwing the ball. When shooting in darker areas, it's best to shoot with a slower shutter. When shooting night shots of cities and getting light trails, it's necessary to use a shutter speed between 30 seconds and 5 seconds, along with a tripod. This applies for shooting stars as well. The tripod is necessary to make sure the shot is steady throughout the entire exposure. The final element I'll go over is called ISO. ISO is light created in the sensor, which is measured by a number between 100 and 6400, depending on the camera. If all other camera settings stayed the same, a photo taken at 100 ISO will be darker than a photo taken at 800 ISO. This means that the higher the ISO, the brighter your photo will be. Depending on the lighting conditions, you can raise or lower your ISO to keep your photo correctly exposed. So if you're outside in the sun, you may want to lower the ISO to around 100 to 200. But if you're indoors and don't have too much light to work with, you can always raise it up to 1600 or 3200. The only drawback to raising your ISO too much is that you'll end up with digital noise on your image. All cameras have different ISO sensitivities, meaning that on a mirrorless camera, it may be safe to go up to 3200 ISO and your photo will come out clean. But if you try 3200 ISO on another type of DSLR camera, it could come out very noisy. It really all depends on the camera system that you're using. So that's a wrap for this basic camera tutorial. I hope you can now pick up a camera, put it in manual mode, and go practice. If this video helped you at all, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more photography and filmmaking videos. Thanks for watching.